Climate change. Current climate change encompasses both the effects of global warming on the planet's weather patterns. Climate change has occurred in the past, but the current changes are noticeably more pronounced and not the result of natural processes. Instead, they are brought on by the release of greenhouse gases, primarily methane and carbon dioxide, CO2. The majority of these emissions are produced by the burning of fossil fuels for energy. Additional sources include particular industrial operations, agricultural methods, and forest loss. The Earth's surface is heated by sunlight because greenhouse gases are transparent to it. The gases absorb the infrared radiation that the Earth releases as heat, keeping it close to the surface and contributing to global warming. Deserts are growing larger as a result of climate change, and heat waves and wildfires are occurring more frequently. Permafrost melting, glacier retreat, and a reduction in sea ice have all been impacted by increased heat in the Arctic. Storms, droughts, and other weather extremes are becoming more intense as a result of rising temperatures. Numerous species are being forced to move or go extinct due to the rapid environmental change occurring in the Arctic, coral reefs, and mountains. People are at risk from food and water shortages, greater flooding, high heat, an increase in disease, and economic loss due to climate change. Conflict and human migration are potential outcomes. Climate change is regarded by the World Health Organization, WHO, as the biggest threat to world health in the 21st century. Even if efforts are effective in reducing future warming, some consequences will last for generations. Sea level rise and warmer, more acidic oceans are two examples of this. Many of these effects are already apparent at the present global warming level of 1.2 degrees Celsius, 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Increased warming will amplify these effects and might even lead to tipping points like the melting of the Greenland ice sheet. Nations collectively pledged to keep warming well under 2 degrees Celsius under the 2015 Paris Agreement. Global warming will still reach roughly 2.7 degrees Celsius, 4.9 degrees Fahrenheit, by the end of the century, even with pledges made under the agreement. To keep global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, emissions must be cut in half by 2030 and net zero by 2050. It will be necessary to move away from consuming power produced from fossil fuels and toward electricity produced from low-carbon sources in order to significantly reduce emissions. This entails phasing out coal-fired power plants, drastically boosting the use of wind, solar, and other renewable energy sources, as well as taking action to cut back on energy consumption. Fossil fuels will need to be replaced by electricity in order to power transportation, heat buildings, and run industrial facilities. Additionally, carbon can be taken out of the atmosphere by using farming techniques that collect carbon in the soil and expanding the amount of forest cover. Communities may try to adapt to climate change by improving coastal protection, but they cannot completely eliminate the possibility of negative, broad, and long-lasting effects.